Motive Racing's Formula 1 League headed to Spa-Francorchamps for the 12th round of the Formula 1 season here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and 5. It was Little Greavy who took pole position in the qualifying session, just edging out Joram to take top spot at the end of the session. Top spot.
Little Greavy, he's gone 2/10 quicker than Joram.
Game for Life started setting purple sector times towards the end of the session and looked like he might be on course for pole, but unfortunately for him, dropped it through Puon, and that put a nail in his chances of getting that one. So it was P5 for Game for Life. But Little Greavy taking pole position by just 400ths to a second over his brother, the Grieve. The two Haas cars lining up on the front row with Joram, the reigning champion, lining up just behind them on the medium tyres in third place. So we knew that Joram would be a force to be reckoned with in the strategy. The surprise of the qualifying session was Audrey Gavis, Joram's main championship rival, down in 12th place, a second and a half off the pace, so he knew he had work to do. But from the start of the race, it was really just Joram who kicked on. He managed to get ahead of both of the Grieve brothers and absolutely drove off into the distance. By the time Audrey Gavis managed to get into second place, Joram was long gone, and Joram taking an emphatic win. So Joram taking P1 ahead of Magfire in second, Audrey Gavis in third place, and Joram extending his championship gap over his championship rival. Kevin Gabor fourth ahead of the Grieve fifth, Renas in sixth, led by Penguin in seventh, Max Nuts in eighth, Matty Pitt ninth, and Raki completing the points in 10th place. In terms of the championship, the gap only 10 points now behind the two big contenders, so it's so close between Joram and Audrey Gavis coming into this Friday's latest round in the F1 League. Make sure you join us this week and for every week, because it's going to be absolutely captivating between these two. Who's going to prevail? We just don't know at this point. Joram is going to be definitely confident at this stage, because this is the part of the season where he really did shine last time out. So he'll be feeling like this is his time to take this championship by the scruff of the neck, as he did this time last season. But Audrey Gavis is not going to make it easy for him. He's going to fight him all the way. You can bet on that. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody for watching. Please do drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and join us at www.motiveracing.com. Thanks everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy everybody, and we'll see you later.
Joram here for season 3 of the F1 game at Motive Racing. He's going to extend his gap here at the top of the leaderboard. Joram, the championship leader, the reigning champion at the Formula 1 League, takes another win. What a great drive from Joram. He was the man to beat. He beat Audrey Gavis tonight on sheer pace alone. No luck, no pit stops, no strategy involved. Joram outpaced him, outclassed Audrey Gavis tonight. And Audrey back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here for round 13 of the Formula 1 season here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. We're here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix, the home of the reigning champion of the F1 League here, Joram. This is his home race, so he'll be extra fired up for this one, I'm sure about that. Unfortunately, the other Constructors champion, Raki, his father and teammate, couldn't join us for tonight. He's at the theatre tonight, so he's not here, but Joram flying the flag for the Netherlands drivers here tonight. We've got 16 drivers on the grid. We're expecting a couple more to jump in over the course of this qualifying session, so fingers crossed we'll have a few more on the grid by the time we get going. But nonetheless, I think we're in for a bit of a treat here tonight. Zandvoort, tricky circuit, not the easiest to get right, very narrow, difficult to overtake. Qualifying is going to be pretty key around here, I'm sure about that, and it'll be interesting to see how the drivers get on. Last time we were at Zandvoort, I was feeling very unwell, I had a horrible sore throat and could barely even talk, so I'm very glad tonight to be in pristine condition and ready to rock and roll. But here we are, we've got the Grieve currently sat on the top of the leaderboard on a 1 minute 12.4. He's got only just a hundredth of a second to Matty Pitt, so Matty Pitt driving a very strong qualifying session tonight, but then again it's the very early stages here in this one. Dr. Van Millen sits in third place ahead of Tia Latifi in fourth, then Pryor Thib, who's done a outlap there by the looks of it. That's Thebo Boy actually jumping in tonight, so we're going to call him Thebo Boy. We're going to stick to his usual alias, as this is the same guy, he's just on a different account. I don't know if he's got banned from PlayStation or what's gone off there, but nonetheless, that's Thebo Boy. The Mutsnuts joins us tonight as well. Good to see the Mutsnuts on track, joins us every now and then for a race. You got Magfire out there at the moment, as Max GT also making his return to the grid tonight. Good to see him. Tia TV does lap time good enough for P5 at the moment. It's gone into the 1 minute 14s. Got Rexy Boy out there as well in the Ferrari this week. Got Joram out there, just in pits actually, so he's not going to improve his lap time in there. Chicken Wing currently sat in 12 still yet to do a lap time actually. In fact, we're not really going to say the positions because there's no point. They're all yet to do a lap yet, so it's all pretty insignificant right now. Little Greavy currently out there at the moment. Looks like he's lost his front wing as Little Greavy actually, so he's going to need to come in and get that fixed. Don't know where he's made that mistake, but Little Greavy has had a bit of an excursion somewhere. Let's try with Kenny as he's coming out onto the start-finish straight. What can Kenny put on the board here as he crosses the line? He's a second and a half adrift at the top time, so he's not quite there at the moment. There is Kenny. Little Greavy out there right now. What's happened here? Chicken Wings just binned it. Chicken Wings binned it coming through the middle sector, so we've got double AGI flags coming through that into that final sector, as we just see the McLaren there of Penguin Dude just coming up on the scene, with that Horatio and Penguin Dude both coming up on the scene at more or less the same time there. But nonetheless, Magfire's gone P1 in this session. He's gone 1.2 seconds quicker than the Grieve, so that's an incredible lap time there from Magfire. Really is getting the pace down at this point in the session. So yeah, good stuff there from him. Grieve currently sat in the pits. He's not going to improve his lap time while in the pits, I imagine, because we see Matty Pitt coming in for a fresh set of boots there. Currently P3 in this session, a little way off for the fastest time being set by Magfire. Kenny out there at the moment, he's 2 seconds down, so he's probably going to come in at the end of this lap, you would imagine. Let's just check the audio, make sure that everything is good. Yeah, sounds good. So Dr. Van Millen on outlap at the moment. You've got Horatio in the pits. Tia Latifi coming in towards turn 1 at the moment. Currently sat in 8th place in this session. You've got Pryor there. Oh no, what's happened here? There's an Alfa Romeo spun, and Alfa Romeo's lost it. That's Chicken Wing again. Chicken Wing is not getting there. I'll tell you what, he's lucky we got ghosting on, because otherwise that would have been a catastrophic accident there. Oh no, is he? He's in reverse. So is he? Maybe he's running manual gears for the first time, potentially. Not the best place to experiment. I suppose qualifying is probably the place where you want to do that, but please don't do it. If you're not confident with it, don't do it in the race, please. Little Greavy out there on an outlap at the moment. You've got Rednas just coming through the middle sector, still yet to do a lap in this session. Penguin Dude also still yet to put a time on the board, but 9 drivers have currently set a time so far in this session. Max GT has gone into 2nd place so far in this one. He's only 6/10 shy of Magfire, so that's a nice lap there from Max GT so far. The Grieve, Matty Pitt, Kenny, Magfire at the top, all in the pits, as is Horatio. All the others are out there on lap times or outlaps at the moment.
and early doors still, with just over halfway in this session, so still plenty of time for these drivers to get lap times on the board for the time being. Well, it's a big thank you to everybody watching live right now. If you're enjoying, please share it with your friends and family. Get them to check out what we're doing here on the Motive channel. If you're one of the drivers, share this with your friends. Get them to check out what you're up to tonight. Get them to come and support you. Get them to knock you and make you out to be useless at what you're doing or whatever, or get them to cheer you on and hype you up, whatever. But currently we've got Max GT coming through the middle sector of the lap right now. He's got 6 tenths currently to find on Magfire at this point, so he's still got work to do as we see double wave yellow flags through sector 1. Not 100% sure what they're for at the moment, as we see just we saw Thibberboy going into 3rd place there with that last lap of it. Let's ride with Max though. He's 4 tenths up at the moment, so this could potentially be the pole lap here. Sorry, I only just got home, Paul Bennett says. Right, mate, let me send you an invite. Let me invite you. No worries, no worries. Hold on. Hold fire 1 second. It's alright, mate. I got you. We started late anyway. So let me send you an invite. If you don't get in, it's no worries, but let's try. Right, Bennett, I've just sent you an invite, so you should be able to get back in, or you should be able to join. If you can get in, cool. If not, no worries. But that's now sent to you, mate. Magfire in the pits at the moment, the provisional pole sitter. Little Greeby's actually got pretty close to Magfire. He's got within a tenth of a second. Max GT's only a couple of tenths away, so now it's looking pretty close to the top of this leaderboard. Joram, the championship leader, is still in the... Oh, here he goes. Yep, no, he's out now. He's out now. So Joram is now leaving the pits. Late in the session, though, so he's leaving it a little bit. Lastminute.com here is the championship leader. Can he get himself a decent lap? He's gone for the medium tyres. Now, with the time left in the session, there's not much time for him to get an out lap and get a few laps in, so he's got to really warm those tyres up nice and quick, get them in the optimum window, and just absolutely bang in a lap here. Well, actually, he probably will get about 3 or 4 attempts, but you know, running on the medium tyres, if he finds that these medium tyres are not quick enough or not really doing him justice, then he's not going to have much of an opportunity to get himself in, change to the softs, and do another lap. So Joram's got to make these mediums work, or he's got to discover that they're not working quickly and then get himself back out. So Joram here is up against it a little bit. Joram, Chicken Wing, Penguin Dude, the only drivers still here to set a lap time in this session. 3 seconds currently separates the top 13. Magpie, Little Greavy, Max GT, these 3 separated by 2 tenths as we're watching Little Greavy coming out of the final corner. Can Little Greavy trouble Magpie's time at the top of the leaderboard? Here he comes over the line. Doesn't improve, but that's because that was an out lap. But Little Greavy will have a couple of opportunities left in this session. He'll have 2 laps of fuel. He'll be able to maybe trouble Magpie there at the top, but Max GT into the pits. Thibberboy, oh, Thibberboy's crashed out. Thibberboy's out of the session just as we jumped to him there. You wouldn't believe it. You could not write it. He's crashed out as he's coming through the final corner. He's lost his front wing. His car is stranded in the middle of the track. That'll be yellow flags for anybody who's trying to finish a lap there. That will be that time ruined. But Thibberboy, what a shame there. Looked like he was on a good lap, as we see Little Greavy coming through the middle sector at the moment. He's currently second in this session. He's got a tenth of a second to find. Running the soft tyres. He's fully going for it here at the end of this session. Let's get the tyre graphic up so we can see what everybody's on right now. Joram going for a very ballsy strategy, putting the medium tyres on. Horatio did his fastest lap on the mediums as well, so he's going for the strategy. And Thibberboy, bit of consolation for him, did his fastest lap on the mediums, so he'd already gone P4 on the medium tyres. That isn't too bad for him. He can still do some very, very sufficient damage from there in the race. Little Greavy, though, out of the final corner, currently P2. Can he go pole position here? Up towards the line comes Little Greavy. He does go pole position by 2 tenths of a second there. So Little Greavy doing a fantastic lap and pushing Magpie down to P2. Magpie's on his way out of the pits, so he will be able to respond and try and do something about it. But Little Greavy's throwing down a marker there as we can watch Joram now coming through the middle, to the final sector, sorry. Joram on his first flying lap here in this session. What can he do as he goes pole position there? Joram by 2 tenths of a second on the medium tyre, no less. Little Greavy's now got work to do, but he's already backed out of it coming through the middle sector. So, through the first sector, should I say. So Little Greavy's, has he got time to pit and then put another set of tyres on? Magpie's out there on an out lap at the moment, got 3 tenths to find. But the big news, Joram is on the medium tyres. So he's done that lap on the inferior tyre, the more durable compound, which will be able to go long into the racing in the first stint. And that is absolutely superb stuff there from Joram, the championship leader, the reigning champion of the Formula One League. Let's get the standings up so you guys can be a bit in the loop as to what's going on this season. So it's Joram leading the way on 189 points. You've got Aldrich Avist in second on 179, 10 points separating the top two. Joram, as it stands, will extend his gap by quite a bit. Aldrich Avist, though, has got some severe pace, so Joram will be wanting to have as much of a cushion as he can possibly get here for this season. But 10 points separating him. Magfire in third on 141 points. Could reel in Aldrich Avist a little bit in the standings. Finn is actually Magfire, for those who are unaware, probably could guess, to be honest. But yeah, that's Magfire in third in the standings. Big Weir sits fourth on 103, despite not even having turned up to all of the races this season. So he's smashed it every time he's been out on track. Little Greavy sat in fifth, Derby Bay sixth. We haven't seen him in a while, actually, to be fair. Actually, Derby Bay, you know what? I've got into a habit of only inviting the drivers who confirm. So I need to, well, Derby Bay's always welcome. He knows that. But if anybody wants to invite Derby Bay, you're always welcome to. But yeah, I only invite the drivers that confirm now, just because it was usually, for time's sake, we're usually up against it, usually a bit last minute, throwing everything together. But nonetheless, Joram and Little Greavy in the pits. Magfire out there at the moment, but he's backed out on the lap that he's currently on. Penguin Dude, big shout out to Penguin Dude. He's gone into P5, so he's high flying at the moment in that McLaren. Penguin Dude, former coordinator and head steward here at Motive, was a big part of our admin team, was also a big factor in why we were able to keep going here at Motive. He really did keep us afloat and devised a few systems which actually stopped us from completely falling apart. So Penguin Dude, absolute legend here at Motive, one of our all-stars here, and he's just coming through the middle sector at the moment on his lap that he's currently on. Let's get rid of the championship standings because they're obstructing the view of the current qualifying leaderboard. 17 cars, 17 drivers currently in this session. Bennett LCFC did jump in to the session in the closing stages, and he's in the Ferrari. So changing allegiance tonight, Bennett, he's gone from the Mercedes to the Ferrari. But nonetheless, Joram in the pit, so he's not going to improve. He's put the soft tyres on, actually, as Joram, so no, he's not going to get out in time. He's not going to get out in time, so he's left it too late. He will start on the mediums, but could still be on pole unless Magfire or Little Greavy can eclipse his current time that he's done. Max GT only 6/10 off, maybe could improve a little bit. Penguin Dude's done a lap, but he's not an improvement so far, as he's on his final run of the session now. And Matty Pitt has crashed out of the session. Did that just happen, or have I only just noticed it? Not sure, but Matty Pitt has crashed out of the session. Oh, it's Magfire. Oh my goodness, what is it with tonight? Every time we switch to somebody, they bin it. As Penguin Dude's out of the session as well, so Penguin Dude's DNF'd. We were just watching Magfire there as he lost it, binned it into the barriers. Watching Little Greavy coming to the final sector. He's just about to start a lap here. He just about gets over in time to do another lap. 7 seconds left on the clock. Magfire, though, he's crashed out of the session, and he was up. Magfire was a 10th up through the middle sector, so he had a chance to do it, but he's missed out on that. Max GT, realistically, and Little Greavy, the only drivers who could possibly do something about Joram's current provisional pole position. Little Greavy coming through the first sector. Max GT is a 10th up through the first sector, but he's half a second adrift of Joram's fastest time. He's got to find 4/10 in the final two sectors. Max is a little bit further up than Little Greavy, so let's jump on. Oh no, Max has lost it, and that's going to be his lap over. He's not going to improve now. His sector time's going to be down through the middle sector. Let's keep an eye on that sector time, but I don't think he's going to improve here through this middle sector due to that big moment. He's still only about half a tenth down, but he lost a lot of time there through that part of the track. Little Greavy, though, is 3/10 up to the middle sector. He could potentially be about to dethrone Joram at the top of the leaderboard for pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix. Joram in his home race on the medium tyres has done an absolute stonking job, but Little Greavy is on course to currently topple that time. Here he comes through that final banking, the right hand around to the start finish straight. Can Little Greavy go pole position? Up towards the line he comes. And he does go pole position, not by much though, by just under 1/10 of a second. Little Greavy snatches it from Joram in the dying embers of the session there. Great lap from Little Greavy. Is anybody else out there on a lap? Little Greavy's brother's out there, but he's not going to improve. He's already down on that fastest time. So that, I think, is going to be that then for the session. So it's going to be Little Greavy on pole position, but very narrowly, and he did his fastest time on the soft tyres. Probably, I would say, the differential between the softs and the mediums, probably about 0.7 of a second. So Joram definitely going to be the favourite for this race, but Little Greavy getting top honours there for pole position. Great lap there right at the end of the session. Joram will start alongside him on the front row with Max GT, Penguin Dude, Pryor, Thebo Boy in 5th, with Matty Pitt 6th, followed by the Greavy in 7th, the Mutt Nuts 8th. Kenny in 9th ahead of Dr. Van Millen, who's going to come over the line. Doesn't improve. A front wingless Dr. Van Millen there. Horatio in 11th, followed by Rexy Boy 12th, Rednass in 13th, Tila TV 14th, Chicken Wing in P15, and Bennett didn't get a lap in the end, will start in P16. Magfire disqualified from the session, so everybody else who was behind him moves up a position. Magfire even will start in 17th, but Joram in P2 behind the pole sitter Little Greavy. And that is that for the qualifying session here. So dramatic end to enter that qualifying session. Little Greavy taking a narrow pole position, but he'll be on the soft tyres compared to Joram, who will have that strategic advantage on the mediums. Max GT gets a 5-place grid penalty, so he will start down in 8th place, and that will move everyone but in between them up a position. So it'll be Penguin Dude 3rd, Thebo Boy 4th ahead of Matty Pitt in 5th. The Greavy will start 6th, and the Mutt Nuts will be 7th ahead of Max GT, who will start in 8th. Kenny will be 9th ahead of Dr. Van Millen in 10th, Horatio 11th, Rexy Boy in 12th, Rednass 13th, Tila Tifi in 14th ahead of Chicken Wing 15th, Bennett LCFC in 16th, Magpies in 17th place. Will start out of back of the grid. Getting ready to go for round 13 at the Formula 1 League here at Motive. Smash the like button, guys, if you're enjoying the stream right now. If you want to get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com. We've got Gaming to the Max. Max GT says I got a 5-place penalty for going slow at the pit exit. Oh, mate, that's a massive kick in the teeth, especially when you're doing the right thing. Sorry for joining a bit last second. I just got out of bed because Buckmore Park just wiped me out. No worries, mate. No worries. Good to see you. Good you could join us. Paul did manage to get in, which is great to see. Always a pleasure to have Bennett LCFC out on the track. One of the quickest, one of the cleanest, and one of the most strategically wisest drivers I've seen on this F1 game. That's the thing that I think sets Bennett LCFC apart. He's extremely quick, and he's always up there at the top. He's always challenging for podiums or on outright pace. But the one thing where I think Bennett really shines is his strategic prowess, his ability to be able to work out what's the best strategy under a safety car or in difficult circumstances. His ability to think on his feet, I think, is Bennett LCFC's biggest strong suit, and that's the one that always seems to work out for him in unpredictable conditions where there's safety cars and wet weather and whatnot. I think it always tends to get the best out of him. But here we are then, getting ready to go for the formation lap, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to thank everybody watching live right now. Drop a like, guys. Smash the like button, as it really does help us out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've got 18 cars on the grid. George SSJ, not sure who he's friends with. Hopefully somebody can account for George. Fingers crossed he's a clean driver and knows what he's doing out on the track. But I want to welcome George to the Motive channel. First appearance here in the Motive F1 League. Don't worry, mate, you're more than welcome to join. Don't worry, you are more than welcome. As long as you're clean, as long as you're fair, as long as somebody knows you, you're all good. As we just see Magfire and Chicken Wing get disqualified from the formation lap, but fear not, they will still be able to take the start. I remember the first time I ever did a commentary on the Formula 1 game, actually far too late really if you think about it. It was F1 2020 was the first game I commentated on. I've been sim racing commentating now for about 3 years. Started on Project Cars 2, then moved to ACC, then finally to the F1 game. But first ever time I commentated on the F1 game, and I saw everybody getting disqualified on the formation lap. I thought, holy shit, what's going on? Am I going to have to commentate on a 10-car race here? And luckily it wasn't to be the case. In the end, we did get a lot more people join. But here we are, guys. We are moments away from the start of round 13 for the Formula 1 season here at Motive. Let us know in the comments who your favourite is for tonight. Who do we think is going to be taking this one? Joram, we're starting in second place on the medium tyres, and we'll have the strategic advantage. Hopefully his dad, Racky's keeping an eye out. Couldn't be here tonight, did Racky, his teammate in the Red Bull, but I'm sure he'll be watching it back afterwards at the theatre tonight. Couldn't be with us, but big shout out to him. He's always here usually, and generally our biggest fan in the comments as well. But here we are then, lining up on the grid, getting ready to go here. You see the cars of Magfire and Chicken Wing already parked up, already waiting for them. They've been stationary for a while. Don't know if the game recreates cold tyres in that situation where they've been parked up for so long. But if it does, then they're going to be on ice getting away from this start line. But here we are, last car's now pulling up. You'll hear the engine revs start to rise a little bit. That will mean that we're moments away. That will mean the lights are starting to come on. Then when the 5 lights go out, they will be officially underway for this 13th round of the season for season 3 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game at Motive. Here we go. We are now getting ready to go. And it's lights out and away we go. Poor start from the McLaren. A Penguin Dude gets jumped there by Thibaut Boy. Little Greavy gets away very nicely and leads us into turn 1. Joe Ram in second place. There we go. Penguin Dude looking around the outside of Thibaut Boy. As we can see, somebody wide there is an Alfa Romeo wide. Also a McLaren as well. Horatio down to 16th place here. Bennett's got up ahead of him as we see Kenny drop into the back of the field. So not a great start for Kenny either. Little Greavy leads ahead of Joe Ram though, coming through the first sector. As we can see, Penguin Dude and Thibaut Boy side by side coming through this tricky section of the track up through the S's here. Still side by side. Thibaut Boy gives Penguin Dude a bit of a tap here. Oh, as Penguin Dude just gets into the barrel. Oh no, Penguin Dude's in the wall. Oh, Penguin Dude's got terminal damage there. It was a bit of a knock there with Thibaut Boy. Is that going to be a safety car here? The VSC's deployed. Little Greavy out in front, leading the race ahead of Joe Ram. Thibaut Boy in third. After that little tap with Penguin Dude, the Greave 4th ahead of Max GT. Then you got the Mutts Nuts, Dr. Van Midden, Magpie, Brexy Boy. There's Matty Pitt completing the top 10. Red Nass Bennett, Chicken Wing George, and then you got Horatio Kenny and Tina Tiffy at the back in P17 in this race. But a little bit of a collision there between Thibaut Boy and Penguin Dude, and that was all that it needed for Penguin Dude to go absolutely head on into the barriers. Lost his front wing, lost basically everything that car needs to be able to be competitive, and Penguin Dude, what a shame there to lose him so early on. VSC looks like that's going to be all it is. They're going to be able to recover that hopefully before the pack comes around, but here they come out onto the start finish straight to complete lap 1. But that's a massive shame there for Penguin Dude as he's jumping as a reserve tonight. I know he's looking forward to this one. The Mutts Nuts making the most of this VSC coming into the pits very early on though, so it's probably not going to be too advantageous to come into the pits at this stage, because honestly there's no real tyre strategy to go for at this point. You're not going to go to the end. You're not going to do 35 laps on one set of tyres. He puts the medium tyres on and off and away he goes once again. Big shout out to George SSJ making his debut tonight. He's already up into 13th, so he's made the most of all the incidents going off ahead of him. Little Greavy and Joe Ram currently nip and tuck here out the front. They've broken away a little bit from Thibaut Boy. The Greaves all over the back of Thibaut Boy, looking to get himself into the final podium spots. You've got Max GT, Dr. Van Midden, Magpie. There's Brexy Boy, Matty Pitt, Red Nass Bennett, and then you've got George running in 12th place ahead of Horatio, Tila Tiffy, the Mutts Nuts, Chicken Wings at a spin. Oh, Chicken Wings gone into the barriers there. He's lost out quite a bit as he reverses into the opposite barrier there. Chicken Wings had a big moment. Kenny in the pits as well at the end of lap 1. But Little Greavy currently leading Joe Ram. Thibaut Boy's pulled up onto the back of Joe Ram as we can see the Greave looking to make the move on Max GT side by side into the chicane, as we see there the Max just trying to go late on the brakes a little bit, trying to get back around the outside of the Greave, but the Greave completes that move up into 4th place. Good racing there from those two. Dr. Van Midden running in 6th place ahead of Magpie. You got Rexy Boy ahead of Matty Pitt, Red Nass Bennett, George in the background of these, losing a bit of time to them at the moment, but Little Greavy's got just under 9/10 of a second to Joe Ram as they come over to complete lap 2 of the race. Little Greavy setting the pace on those soft tyres as you'd expect really, but Joe Rams will start to come into his own. Those medium tyres will start to work wonders later on in this stint. Dr. Van Midden's lost out to Magpie. Magpie's up into 6th place. Thibaut Boy's got back ahead of Max GT up into 3rd place. These two trading places. It's nip and tuck at the moment between them. Rexy Boy's just ahead of Matty Pitt, half a second between those two. Bennett trying to close on to the back of Red Nass as well. There's battles everywhere you look at the moment in the early stages of this race. But Little Greavy currently just looking stable out the front. He's keeping that gap around 8/10 to the reigning champion Joe Ram, who's staying hot on his heels for the time being. Let's just get the whole pack coming through this corner. Oh, that's a sick camera angle. I love it. I love it when you can just get the whole pack coming through the same part of the track. I love sort of wide camera angles like this. It's really cool. Oh, as we can see, Matty Pitt's got ahead of... Oh, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Matty Pitt must have overcooked it coming into that corner. He got ahead of Red Nass very briefly, but Red Nass now back up into 9th place there. Love these camera angles. These camera angles at Zandvoort are absolutely brilliant. Little Greavy out of the last corner, half a second. Joe Ram's now got DRS though coming down the start finish straight. Is this going to be a potential for Joe Ram to make a move? He's looking to the inside, trying to weave around a bit. Nothing doing there though. Oh, as we can see Magpie looking to the inside of the Greave and gets that move done into turn 1. Beautifully done on the brakes there from Magpie. Seized on his opportunity and took it without any questions asked. Rexy Boy on the back of Matty Pitt. Oh, sorry, Rexy Boy on the back of Red Nass and Matty Pitt on the back of these. Battling it out over 8th place in this race. Bennett trying to close on to these guys as well if he can. Matty looking all the way around the outside there of Rexy Boy at the moment. Can't get anything done just there though.
Joam still hot on the back of the Little Greavy though. Little Greavy has been holding his ground for the time being. George SSJ in the pits here at the end of lap 3. On board with Little Greavy, you can see the Red Bull, the reigning champion, the championship leader, still in hot pursuit in these early stages of the race. But for the time being, Little Greavy's just doing what he has to do. But on the soft tyres, you'd imagine that Joam's mediums will start to come into their own as this stint goes on. On board with Max GT, you can see the rear view there, looking back at Magfire. Magfire will have DRS this time around. Let's go back to the leaders though, because Joam's going to have a chance coming down the start-finish straight. I think he's a little bit too far back at the moment. Magfire still hunting Max GT. Dr. Van Benen within DRS of the Grieve as well. Bennett pretty close on the back of Matty Pit, but no position changes just at the moment between any of these guys. As we see Rexy Boy into the pits, Mutts Nuts is within a second of T Latifi. Nothing doing there though, not really close enough. Battle at the front, 4/10 still separating Little Greavy and Joam. It's nothing at all really separating them at the moment. Magfire still trying to hunt Max if he can. And Joam's got ahead of Little Greavy. What's happened there? We completely missed that. We just flicked away from them for a second. Little Greavy must have made a mistake, and Joam now leads the race. And the Grieve has got ahead of Thebo Boy as well. In fact, Thebo Boy must have made a mistake. He's lost out to Dr. Van Minnen as well. So Thebo Boy losing out to Magfire, the Grieve, and Dr. Van Minnen down to 7th place. Thebo Boy having a big moment there. And he's losing hand over fist. He's losing time. He's losing places. Bennett's still on the back of Matty Pit, but yeah, it doesn't look like that's really materialised so far between those. But Joam's now got a 2-second lead over Little Greavy, and Max GT's got Magfire hunting him down here for 3rd place in this race. These two pretty much nip and tuck as they're coming out of the last corner. Down the start finish straight they come. Magfire's a little bit too far back, I think, to have a look into turn 1. He's close, but not quite close enough. As we see Little Greavy into the pits here at the end of lap 5, and so is Thebo Boy. So those two both coming in at the end of lap 5. And Magfire still looking to try and pressure Max GT for 2nd place. Well, it was 3rd, it's now 2nd place between these two. And Chicken Wing's out of the race. Chicken Wing is DNF. Now, is that going to be a safety car? Double wave yellow flags through sector 2. Doesn't look like it's going to be a safety car, so we're going to get away without a safety car here in this one. For now, anyway. On board with Bennett, he's still hunting down Matty Pit. Evening all, says Lightblade. Welcome along, Lightblade. Good to see you. Lightblade, one of our biggest fans here at Motive as well, tuned in on Wednesday night for the multi-class series on the PlayStation 4 on ACC. And he's a big fan of F1 as well, is Lightblade. Always loves to check us out on a Friday night. Bennett LCFC, I didn't realise he started on the hard tyres. That's actually the first time I noticed that one. So that's going to be advantageous there for him, because he's actually done a decent job in the first part of this race. He's about just over 10 seconds off for the race lead at this point, is Bennett. So he's definitely playing himself into contention. If he can, as long as there are no safety cars in this race, he could probably put a set of softs on at the end and really get something done here. So Bennett will be hoping and praying that we don't have a safety car. Dr. Van Minnen into the pits here at the end of lap 6, and off and away he goes once again. Magfire still close on the back of Max GT though. These two still fighting out over 2nd place here in this race. Rest of the pack pretty strong out as we see Dr. Van Minnen coming out of the pits just behind Little Greavy and T Latifi. Redknapp still hunting down the Grieve, and Magfire still hunting down Max GT. 2nd and 3rd for Max GT, and Magfire 4th, 5th and 6th currently. Sorry, 4th and 5th for the Grieve and Redknapp. Dr. Van Minnen's very much on the back of the... Oh, he's juices there. And Dr. Van Minnen's going to have a bit of damage there. He's right on the back of T Latifi just as we flick to him there. Dr. Van Minnen has a bit of a slide and loses a bit of his front wing. Wouldn't be too much damage, but it might be losing him a little bit each lap there. As the Mutts Nuts gets ahead of him there up into 11th place. Didn't need a second invitation there, did the Mutts Nuts? Fully went for that as soon as the door was open. And Thebo Boy now might be able to push Dr. Van Minnen while he's down. And yes, he does there. Now that's Thebo Boy up into 12th place. My pom-poms are waving, says Lightblade. Magfire within 3/10 of Max GT at the moment. Redknapp still close on the back of the Grieve. Joam though, he's opening up a gap right now. 4 seconds he's got over Max GT. But will that still be the lead once the strategy comes into play with Little Greavy coming into the pits? He's re-emerged in 9th place as Little Greavy, so
he could still be in the net lead of the race. So Steve Boy does the fastest lap of the race on fresh soft tyres as he looks down the inside of the Nuts Nuts. And I think he's going to complete this move into the S's. Yes, he does. So Steve Boy up into 11th place there. Dr. Van Midden and Kenny both in the pits. Dr. Van Midden's put a set of medium tyres on. Kenny is putting another set, soft tyres on for Kenny. Soft tyres going on Kenny's car as we've got a VSC. I'm not sure why we've got a VSC. Have we got a slow car anywhere? Doesn't look like it. Don't know. Very strange. Max GT has just been given a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. That is going to be a massive ball late there for him. He was just in front of Magpie. It looks like Magpie closed in a bit under the VSC, which is very strange. So he's actually got done for speeding under the VSC, but he doesn't seem to have gained much. But nonetheless, Magpie now within 0.2 of a second and really putting this pressure. He knows that he'll probably get ahead of Max once Max comes in for his drive-through, but is Max going to come in straight away, or is he going to long it out and try and gain as much of an advantage as he can before he comes in and gets that drive-through done? These two continuing to lose time to the race leader, Joram. Little Greavy running in a net, what probably could be a net P2 in this race, as long as he's kept up the pace and not made any mistakes since his pit stop. Redna's still very close on the back of the Grieve as these two fight it out over 4th place. But on board with Magpie coming out of the final banking. He's going to have DRS and he gets quite a good run actually coming out of the last corner. Max GT pits, so Max is coming in, getting that drive-through done. I think maybe Magpie might have had a chance. Oh, and no, Max has got it done for speeding in the pit lane. 5-second penalty. Oh, it goes from bad to worse. Max GT's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. That's going to be a kick in the teeth there for him as Magpie continues on his way. I think Magpie probably would have got him into turn 1 because he was within 0.3 and he would have had DRS as well. But Max GT coming in nonetheless. Matty Pitt in the pits, so he's put a set of hard tyres on his Matty Pitt, so he should be good to go to the end. From here, he'll be hoping we don't have another safety car. We haven't had any yet, but he'll be hoping that we don't have any at all. Redna's still within 0.6 of the Grieve. These two fighting out over 3rd place in this race. Oh, and T Latifi's out of the race. T Latifi's DNF'd. And we've got a full safety car. Safety car's deployed as Dr. Van Midden gets it onto the grass. Full safety car deployed here at Zandvoort. And that's going to really throw a bit of doubt into the air now. Full safety car out here on lap 10 of the race. Oh, what a shame there. For all those who have put the hard tyres on and were hoping to go to the end. That's kind of just thrown Bennett's strategy a little bit to pot, really. As Joram and Magpie both coming into the pits now. Joram's put a set of softs on. Is he banking on there being another safety car in this race? Still got 15 cars out on the track. Magpie puts a set of softs on as well. What does the Grieve do? I suppose you can't really put a set of mediums onto the end here, and the hards do seem to lose a lot of time around Zandvoort, so softs could be the way to go. Short stint, bank on another safety car, just blitz it. Bennett's come out in 2nd place on the hard tyres, so he's had a decent bit of decision making there, but is that going to work out for him? Because obviously he needs to come in at some point in this race. I think he might be a sitting duck for these fresh soft runners behind him like Magpie. You've got Little Grieve, he's still running on the mediums, but he only put those on 4 laps ago. The Grieve running on fresh soft, as is Rednas. And Little Grieve will definitely have to come in again. He's not going to be able to do 30 laps on 1 set of medium tyres. He'll definitely be into the pits before the end of this race. But full safety car here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix at Motive, guys. If you're watching, one of the drivers watching this back afterwards, please do drop a like, guys. It really does help us out. Hopefully you're enjoying watching this back. If you do, please share it with your friends and family. Get us out there, get this to a wider audience and whatnot. Share it around. And yeah, we'll be back in a moment.
Here we are then, guys, once again getting ready to go for the restart here at Zandvoort. Joram will be leading us away on the fresh soft tyres. Bennett LCFC right up his trumpet here, but he's on worn out hard tyres. How much longer are those hard tyres going to last until they start to go off? Not probably a little while, but they're going to be slower than the softs that are behind them, and the mediums of Little Greavy, but Little Greavy himself could also be a bit of a sitting duck to Radnas and the Grieve. But here we are once again underway. Rexy Boy gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Horatio, but Joram's clearing away at the front, and Little Greavy down the inside of Magpie into turn one. He's going to try and get himself up into the podium spot straight away if he can. Little Greavy does that beautifully there, up into third place. Looking back down the order, Kenny's got ahead of the Grieve, but he's actually ghosting through one of the Haas cars there. As we can see, what's going on here? Kenny's actually ghosting through the Grieve there, so bizarre moment there as they're both on the same lap. Kenny does get that move done up into 9th. Thebo Boy's got ahead of Horatio up into 13th place. Back at the front though, Joram's breaking away from Bennett, and Little Greavy is absolutely hassling the back of Bennett here, as we can see running ball with Magpie looking on the back of these two as well. So now it's a 3-car battle here. In fact, it's a 4-car battle because Rednass is right with them as well. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. They've broken away a little bit from the Nuts running in 6th place there. But this is battle on here for 2nd place, as now Joram's looking to try and capitalise on this and absolutely skate off into the distance here in this one. Max GT's got ahead of Dr. Van Millen there, up into 7th. Bennett's still clinging on by the skin of his teeth. They had a Little Greavy, Magpie and Rednass. The Nuts is dropping off of them a little bit there in 6th spot at the moment. Thebo Boy's currently trying to make hay in this one, trying to get ahead of George if he can. Horatio's got ahead of Rexy Boy up into 13th place. And what's happened to Rexy Boy? He's had a moment. He's had an off there, and Rexy Boy loses out. He's down to last place, the last runner in this one. What a shame there for him. Back to the front. Joram's got a 3.6 second lead, and Bennett's now got Little Greavy looking to his inside. No DRS this time around. Little Greavy's going to get this done on grunt. He's going to look to try and squeeze him out there. Bennett's going to hold it around the outside, but Little Greavy does get that one done up into 2nd place. Rednass waiting in the wings. As what's happened further down, we've got the Nuts coming into the pits as well as Magpie. So both of those two coming in. A bizarre time to come into the pits. We just had a safety car, but nonetheless we see Bennett there running in 3rd place. He's got Rednass now hassling, or not hassling him yet, but he will be in a moment. He's pretty much looming large in his mirrors at this point. The Grieve has got just under a second back to Dr. Van Millen. These two pretty close. Thebo Boy is now sizing up George SSJ, trying to get himself into 8th place as he can. George is just swaying around a little bit there, bringing the pressure ever so slightly, as Thebo Boy is now going to look to try and pick him off on this little run in this right hand corner. Oh, as he just tags him in the rear a little bit there. George is trying to hold it around the outside, still side by side, and now Thebo Boy's going to look to try and get a cut back on the exit at this chicane. George parking his car in all the right places, running on the hard tyres as well, so he's in a good position here, driving that Aston, which should be able to go to the end of the race from here. So he'll be hoping we don't have any more safety cars, but Thebo Boy can't quite get the move done on George. George holding his ground at the moment, as Joram's now opened up a 5-second gap at the front. Little Greavy running in 2nd place, and Bennett's still got his hands full of Rednass coming down the start finish straight in towards turn 1 they come, and Rednass still can't get anything done there with Bennett at the moment. Looking down the order, Thebo Boy has lost out to Horatio and Matty Pitts. I don't know what's happened there, but he's now got Kenny on the back of him as well. Kenny looking to the outside. Can he hold it around the outside? No, he can't. Thebo Boy hugs that inside line, tags that curve on the middle, and he just cannot find a way around him at the moment. Kenny with nowhere to go, no opportunities here. Rednass still looking on the back of Bennett, a 10th of a second between these two. Max GT waiting in the wings, hoping to pounce on these if he can. Running in 3rd, 4th, 5th. Oh no, what's going on? What's going on? Little Greavy's ride, he's onto the gravel. What's going on here? Little Greavy was running about 5 seconds behind the race leader Joram, but he's just pretty much ruined his chances of being on the podium for now at least. Max GT's got ahead of Rednass up into 3rd place, so that's a great move there from Max GT. But Bennett back up into 2nd place. He's doing a good job on these hard tyres. He's losing a lot of time to the race leader Joram, but he's still keeping this charging pack at bay somehow. I don't know how. Max GT's still looking for a way around him. Rednass though has lost out to Max GT there. The Grieve running just behind these in 5th place. It's still a 4-car battle here over 2nd place in this race. Out of the final banking they come. They all have DRS on each other. Bennett's lost it. Bennett's out of the race. Oh no. That's in quite a precarious position, and a safety car is deployed. No surprise there. Max GT, Rednass, the Grieve still battling it for 2nd place, but a safety car has been deployed. That's going to play into the hands of the drivers who are behind the incident. The Little Greavy has won the lottery here. If Little Greavy had not made that mistake, he wouldn't have been able to bring it into the pits. He wouldn't have been in a position. He lost about 7 seconds when he had that moment, and if he hadn't lost those 7 seconds, he would have been past the pit entry line. But when that safety car was deployed, so Little Greavy, a bit of a happy mistake there for him as Steve-O Boy Kenny coming out at the pits now. We got the Muttnuts just coming down the start finish straight. Rexy Boy out of his box, back out onto the track. Joram leads the race ahead of Max GT. All of that lead that Joram built up over the last 4 laps now completely negated. It's as if it never even happened, and it's now going to be absolutely rendered to nothing here. But it's Joram from Max GT. Rednas completing the podium spots at the moment. The Grieve on the back of him with Dr. Van Minden in P5, George in 6th ahead of Matty Pitt 7th, Horatio in 8th in this race, Magpie 9th, Little Greavy on fresh soft tyres running in P10, so it could have been a lot worse. But Little Greavy, I think it's Mr. Tricky. If I were him, I'd have just gone for the hards and banked on there not being another safety car, try and go to the end, pick him off, but nonetheless he's staying out on the soft tyres. He's put a fresh set of soft tyres on, should I say. Joram coming into the pits has put the mediums on. Now is Joram going to try and go to the end from here? 20 laps to go. It's quite a twisty track. The tyre wear is going to be quite high on the parts of the track that there are, but it's a very short track as well. It's not a very long lap around here at Zandvoort, so I wonder if Joram's going to try and get to the end, bearing in mind we're probably not going to have any racing for a couple of laps, so by the time we get underway again, it's probably going to be about, what, 17, 18 laps to the finish? So potentially Joram could go to the end on his medium tyres if he's kind to them. That could be an option for him. But nonetheless, Max GT now leading the race on soft tyres which are 5 laps old, so probably could go another 6 or 7 laps on those. Rednas likewise in the same position, but Joram is going to be on them from this restart in 3rd place on the mediums. But nonetheless, we know that Joram's got pace on the medium tyres are no hold back for him. That will not stop him for sure. Dr. Van Minden in 4th on the mediums which are 6 laps old. You've got George running in P5 now, and George at SSJ, I said before, he can comfortably go to the end of this race, so he's good to go until the end of the race. What's going to happen in front of him, the drivers in front of him maybe might need to pit again. Max GT, Rednas and Dr. Van Minden definitely need to pit again. Matty Pitt running behind George in a similar position actually on the hard tyres. Magpie running in P7, the Grieve 8th, Little Greavy 9th on those fresh softs. We've got Horatio P10 on fresh medium tyres, Thebo Boy on the hard tyres on fresh ones as well. You've got Kenny on slightly worn out hard tyres. They'll be good to go for a little while yet. In fact, he might even be able to go to the end on those. The Muttnuts has got soft tyres which you'll need to change in about 7 or 8 laps time, and Rexy Boy will be able to maybe go to the end. If he's kind to those medium tyres, Rexy Boy might be able to get them to the flag. He's in a similar position to Joram with those medium tyres, as is the Grieve and as is Horatio. But all these questions and more will be answered over the next half of this race. Second half of the race coming up very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Here we are then, guys, about to go once again for the third restart of the evening. We've had yet another safety car period, but we're about to go racing once again. Max GT will be getting us underway. Rednas right up his trumpet in second. We saw for a moment Max GT surrendering the lead to Rednas, but he's back in position once again as Joam's now looking to try and get the jump on Rednas straight away here, coming down towards turn one. Max has already gone. Rednas has got Joam diving down his inside, and Joam gets that one done there, up into second place. Great move there from Joam. Absolutely superb stuff there on the brakes. As we can see, Rednas now trying to keep Dr. Van Midden behind him as Matty Pitt's got Magpie and Little Greavy all over the back of him as well. The Grieve, Debo Boy, there's Horatio Kenny, Rexy Boy ahead of him, the Butts Nuts, and George SSJ. No, on his debut as well. George was having an absolutely brilliant race, and he's just stacked it there. He's gone into the pit wall at turn one, and he can't get it going again. As Little Greavy's got ahead of Matty Pitt, and Matty Pitt's off as well. Oh my goodness, Matty Pitt has gone into the gravel there. We've had two drivers absolutely binning it here on the restart. A Mercedes and an Aston Martin having an absolute nightmare of a restart to this one, as Max GT leads ahead of Joam, just 9/10 of a second between these two. Rednas there in third ahead of Dr. Van Midden, Magpie, there's Little Greavy ahead of the Grieve, Thebo Boy, Horatio there, Kenny, Rexy Boy, the Mutts Nuts, Matty Pitt, and George's SSJ has retired from the race. So what a shame there. He was driving such a strong race as well. His first appearance on the Motive channel, it has all gone Pete Tom. But as we're coming over the line to complete lap 19 onto lap 20, it's Max GT from Joam. Not much separating these at the two at the moment. As you can see, Magpie looking down the inside here of Dr. Van Midden. He's going to get that one done into turn one. Beautifully done. And now it looks like Little Greavy's going to capitalise on Dr. Van Midden going a bit wide through turn one. And Dr. Van Midden loses out to both of those two. Rexy Boy into 11th place and Matty Pitt into 12th. That's because the Mutts Nuts is in the pit. So those two gaining a position each there. Little Greavy trying to get ahead of Magpie though. He's all over him. Little Greavy on the fresh stuff to be wanting to make the most of these tyres because they're not going to last forever. He needs to maybe absolutely smash these lap times in over the next 7 or 8 laps because he'd have to change tyres again. He's not going to be able to go to the end of this race on these set of tyres, that is for sure. But the soft tyres a big advantage around a track like Zandvoort, so it could pay dividends by the time we get to the end as the Mutts Nuts emerges from the pits and back out onto the track once again. Aerial shot here, love the helicopter view here at Zandvoort. Joam still trying to hunt down Max GT. Joam on fresh medium, Max now on slightly worn out softs. The softs won't be as worn out as they would ordinarily be due to the fact that we've had safety car after safety car, so Max has been able to nurse these softs a little bit more than you would think looking at the tyre graphic in the top left hand corner. I'd say probably about 5 of these 9 laps that he's done on these tyres have been at racing speeds, so he's still got plenty left in the tank right now. Back in the battle for third place, Rednas has got Magpie looking to his inside, and Magpie gets that move done. Easy does it into third place there for Magpie. Little Greavy in the background of this ahead of the Grieve. Dr. Van Midden, Thebo Boy still all over the back of Dr. Van Midden. Gets a nice run there coming out of turn 1 into 2, goes around the outside, and Thebo Boy up into 7th place there. Very nice move there from Thebo Boy. Matty Pitt still close on the back of Rexy Boy at the moment, batting out over the final points paying position, but Joam hunting down the race leader, continuing to probe and push, trying to find a way through ahead of Max GT. Max needs to change tyres again. He'll need to change probably in the next 3 or 4 laps, you would imagine. Joam might be good to go to the end on these medium tyres. This technically is the battle for the lead at the moment. It's not the battle for the win because Max is not in that battle unless we have a safety car, but Joam currently is just going to be patient. He's not going to go for any rash or reckless manoeuvres. He needs to be patient here and wait for his opportunity because he's in a position where he's probably got the race win in the bag. Looking down the order, looking for any potential challengers, the Grieve is probably Joam's closest challenger in this race, running on the medium tyres. We think that Joam and the Grieve should be good to go to the end of this race on those medium tyres. So the Grieve's got to pick his way through the order, but the thing is Joam wants to make sure that he's got a reasonable enough gap back to the Grieve because it's only about 5 or 6 seconds between him at the moment, and you know, if Joam has one little mistake or a spin, then that will invite the Grieve into this battle for the win. So Joam will have that on his mind and will be wanting to get ahead, I think, of Max as soon as he possibly can. But nonetheless, lap 22 of 36 here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix at Motive Racing. It's been breathtaking, it's been exhilarating, there's been plenty of action over the course of tonight so far. Little Greavy, the closest he's ever been to the back of Rednas, coming through the middle sector here. Still can't find a gap, no opportunities really presenting themselves at this point. Into the chicane they come. Rednas just holding his ground. They're both on the softs, but Little Greavy's tyres are 5 laps younger than Rednas's. As we can see, Rexy Boy has made a mistake. Rexy Boy's had a bit of an off. Kenny's in the pits. And Little Greavy still looking around the outside here of Rednas. out of that little chicane. They come down towards the penultimate corner. This is going to be a little goose best opportunity, and Joe Arm's looking down the inside of Max GT for the lead of the race. Here we go. Joe Arm's made that move beautifully into turn 1 as we were watching that battle between Little Greavy and Rednass, and now Little Greavy breezes around the outside of Rednass up into 4th place. So Little Greavy, they're doing a superb job there to get himself into 4th place, but Joe Arm is now the race leader. And it's not as crucial as you might think to those just tuning in who think, what are you doing, Andy? You're not watching the battle for the lead. Max GT's technically not in that battle. He's still got to pit again. Joe Arm has not. But the crucial thing about Little Greavy getting ahead of Rednass there is that he's now not too far behind Joe Arm. The gap is still about 6 seconds between Joe Arm and Little Greavy. These two really could be the Greavy even. Little Greavy could be the battles for the win, but that only if there's a safety car, really. Little Greavy will need a safety car to bring himself into this battle for the lead. But we've got Max GT coming back at Joe Arm around the outside. And can he make this one stick? I think he is going to make it stick. Max GT's coming back at Joe Arm, and he's pulled off an absolute worldie there. Set him up beautifully for that chicane. Went around the outside and had the inside for the second part of the corner. Max GT's pulled off an absolute corker there on Joe Arm. Can Joe Arm now come back at him coming down the start finish straight? He's going to surely have a chance, and he's going to absolutely breeze past him with DRS. OP DRS there for the Red Bull. Back up into P2. Can Max hold it on the outside for 2? No, he can't. And Joe Arm back up into P1 once again. These two having a great little scrap as Thieber Boy's down the inside of the Greave. The Greave, though, trying to hold it around the outside, can't do it. Thieber Boy up into 6th place there. Ratio dropping off at the back of Dr. Van Midden. Dr. Van Midden's got himself into 8th place and is now starting to pull away a little bit. But Joe Arm once again controlling this race. And it's been up and down for Joe Arm once again. He's done everything right. He qualified on a medium tyre in second on the grid, and we knew he was going to be strong from P3. Obviously, he was P2. He was within a tenth of a second of the pole time on the inferior tyre. Oh, what's happened? Kenny's out of the race. Kenny is DNF from the race. Didn't see what's gone off there, but he's now crashed out. Double wave yellow flags through sector 3. Fingers crossed we don't see any major turn-ups in the shape of any safety cars or anything, but caution would be advised to drivers coming through the final sector and the first sector. Rednass into the pits at the end of lap 24. And the gap's still 6/10, so Max has not fallen off at the back of Joe Arm. That's still pretty close. As down the start finish straight we come. Dr. Van Midden trying to get into the head of Horatio, but Horatio's pretty occupied right now with both Dr. Van Midden and Thieber Boy in his rearview mirrors. Thieber Boy looking to try and get up the inside of Dr. Van Midden. Oh, tagged him in the back a little bit there. Oh no, Thieber Boy's tagged him, and they're both in the wall. Dr. Van Midden's going to be fuming with that one as Thieber Boy just tapped him in the rear a little bit, and that was all that was needed to send him round. Dr. Van Midden losing 2 places. Thieber Boy continues on his merry way, and Dr. Van Midden is going to be absolutely cursing Thieber Boy's name there. He's going to be outraged at that one, and that's lost them both a lot of time there to Horatio, who's now 5 seconds up the road from Thieber Boy. He's 8 seconds up the road from Dr. Van Midden, and Dr. Van Midden loses out to Matty Pitt in that one. Gap at the front between Joe Arm and Max GT's gone up to 1.4, so Max on these worn soft tyres might surely now be starting to think about changing them. Yes, he does. He's into the pits here at the end of lap 25, so he's coming in to get those soft tyres changed, and he can just put another set of softs on, you'd imagine, and go to the end from here. As if has he done a lap stint on the mediums yet? No, he hasn't. He hasn't done a set on the mediums, so he will now have to put those on, and he'll be able to go to the end, you would imagine, from there. Thieber Boy currently close on the back of Matty Pitt, 7 tenths between these two. He'll get DRS, but he's too far back to make a move here. And in fact, he's coming into the pits here, so Thieber Boy is going to try and get himself back together. Oh no, he's got done for speeding in the pit lane. Thieber Boy gets a 5-second penalty, and he's retired from the race. He's DNF'd. He's thought, nope, I've had enough. Thieber Boy's now done. Bennett said a little while ago, no, I can't believe it, just done that back end, just went on me. It's a shame there for Bennett, LCFC, shame to lose him in this race. Kenny's left the session, he retired from the race a little while ago, to be fair.
So the gap at the front between Joram and Magfire currently 3 seconds. So it looks like Joram's got a decent gap here. I said before, the Grieve probably Joram's only real challenger for this race, but he's got 12 seconds back to him at the moment. So I think that the Grieve probably is out of range really to be able to offer Joram any sort of a fight, unless we get a safety car that could potentially bring him into the mix again. But that's a very big if, to be honest with you, at this point. So the race is starting to settle down. There aren't too many battles going on, so it's less likely that somebody's going to bin it sufficiently enough to warrant a safety car. But you just never know at this point. Magfire on 15 lap old soft tyres. You'd imagine it'd be needing to come in pretty sharpish to get them changed. But he's staying out for now. And he's making them work, to be fair. He's still keeping the gap at around the same to Joram. Little Groovy into the pits. He's going to get those softs changed now, so I imagine he'd put another set of softs on and be good to go to the end from here. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how Magfire's managed to make these soft tyres last 16 laps. Reminiscent of Kevin Gaboa's at Silverstone earlier this season, where he somehow managed to make them last 20 laps. No, it wasn't 20 laps, it was like 15, 16, I think it was like 17 laps, I'm not sure. Something insane anyway. But Joram currently doing everything he has to do, and that's got a 3 second time penalty, should I say, for multiple track limit warnings. What a shame there. You see Magfire now finally coming into the pits. He lost about 8 tenths of a second to Joram on that previous lap, so that could be why that one. The Grieve continuing on his way at the moment, coming into turn 1 for the 29th time in this race. He's 12 seconds behind Joram at this stage though, and Max GT will come through to take that final podium spot for the time being. But Magfire on the fresh soft, you'd imagine, will probably be able to reel him in quite quickly here. And Magfire, I'm sure, will be aiming at P2 in this race, should I say. P1's a bit beyond him, but P2 still very much on the cards, I would say. He's only 9 seconds off of the Grieve over 8 laps on fresh softs. That could be doable there for Magfire. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. And Little Greavy only 3 seconds behind Magfire, so keep an eye out for Magfire and Little Greavy. I reckon these two could both still be on the podium in this race. Magfire and Little Greavy, fresh soft tyres, are going to be on an absolute charge in the final 7 laps of this race. Keep an eye out for them, because I reckon that the Grieve and Max GT could be looking in their mirrors very shortly. Magfire now within a second of Max, so this is now battle on here for P3 in this race. Looking down the order, Rednass and Matt is on the back of Matty Pitt as well in this battle for 7th. But on board with Magfire coming through the final couple of corners. He'll have DRS on Max this time around, but he's too far back to make a move. But this will bring him within striking distance. Down the start straight they come. DRS and Slipstream there for the Alpine, getting a lovely tow there on the AlphaTauri of Max GT. Rednass looks like he's in striking distance here on Matty Pitt. He'll get the move done surely into turn 1. Matty Pitt is going to leave the door open. Rednass goes to charge down the inside here into turn 1. Can he get it stopped in time though? They're side by side. Oh, close racing here between them. Fair racing from Matty Pitt. Gave him the space, and Rednass gets that move done up into 7th place. Beautifully done there from Rednass. Back to the battle for 3rd place between Max GT and Magfire. Just 3 tenths of a second separating them. Rednass looks like he's now gapped Matty Pitt a little bit in that battle for P7 and 8. Joram's gapped 13 seconds out the front to the Grieve. Those two, 1 and 2. Max GT could hold Magfire up a little bit here, and that will obviously inhibit Magfire's ability to go and chase after the Grieve for P2. I think it's a foregone conclusion. Magfire's going to get ahead of Max at some point here on those fresh soft tyres, but it's a case of how long can Max keep him behind him as the Muttnuts comes into the pits, and off and away he goes once again. But down the start finish straight we come for the 31st time in this race.
And we can see now Magfire gets that move done very easily there on Max GT. Fastest lap of the race as well there for Magfire, so he's flying at this point in the race. Rednass is on the back of Horatio here, and he's going to probably get this move done coming down the start finish straight. Horatio defends to the inside, but Rednass breezes around him there into 6th place. Routine stuff there for him. Nice move there from Rednass. Back to 3rd and 4th places. Magfire and Max GT still going at it here for that final podium spot, but I think Max is pretty much just he's trying to cling on to him as much as he can, but I think Magfire is going to pull away over the course of the next lap or so. Only 5 seconds separating the Grieve and Magfire, so maybe Magfire might be able to reel in the Grieve. Max is on much younger tyres than the Grieve, so they might be able to try and drag each other along here, but Magfire will surely have the pace of a Max at this point in the race. Little Grieve, he's not really making an impression on Magfire and Max. You'd have thought being on a fresh soft, Little Grieve would have a bit of a pace advantage over Max, but it's not really showing at this point as Joram fastest, did I see that right? Fastest lap of the race on 14 lap old medium tyres. What? Stop showing off, son, honestly. Joram, absolute class of the field tonight. Reigning champion, championship leader. In the absence of his championship rival Aldrich Avis, he'll be able to pretty much put daylight between himself and his and the aforementioned Max GT within 6/10, so he's not really lost out to Magfire here. He's still sticking to the back of him despite being on medium tyres. Max is doing a good job here of keeping on to Magfire. Both of these two are gaining on the Grieve, who's running in P2, so the Grieve will be looking in his mirrors pretty shortly as Magfire and Max are coming. Horatio's gapped Matty Pitt by a second, and sorry, Rednass has gapped Horatio by nearly 3 seconds, and Matty Pitt is reeling Horatio in. And Matty Pitt on 21 lap old hard tyres, not really too bad for the hard tyres. We said before he'd probably be able to make it to the end. He's doing his fastest times right now, so that just goes to show how well Matty Pitt has looked after these hard tyres over the course of this race. He's still setting fastest sector times as the fuel load starts to wear down, but nonetheless it takes a lot to be able to look after them to that level and keep them going for that long at that kind of standard. But right now we look back to the battle between Rexy Boy and the Mutts Nuts coming out of the last corner over the line to complete lap 32 of the race for them. As into turn 1 they come. The good thing here for the Mutts Nuts is that he'll be able to make the most of Magfire and Max GT, who are battling out over 3rd and 4th. And they'll be able to make the most of the ghosting there, so the Mutts Nuts will be able to get the move done quite easy there on Rexy Boy, and he does so, takes advantage of that, something absolutely rotten. And Magfire and Max still batting it out over 3rd and 4th places. Little Grievey's dropped out of that battle really. He's now 5 seconds adrift, so he's not really making the gains that I thought he would do. But it's still the battle here. The Grieve has only got 2 seconds now back to Magfire and Max, so these two continuing to bring it down to the Grieve. They are absolutely flying at this point. The question is there going to be enough laps for Magfire and the Grieve, for Magfire and Max, sorry, to get onto the back of the Grieve? I suppose 3 laps probably is doable. On board with Max, too far back on Magfire coming into turn 1. But these two can now see the Grieve very much in their sights. Joram is continuing to absolutely wipe the floor with them tonight. He's got almost a 20-second gap over the Grieve at this point as the Mutts Nuts has left the session. He's now done for this one. Gap just over a second between the Grieve and Magfire. Just over 2 laps left in this race. I think the Grieve is going to be a sitting duck for Magfire, if I'm honest with you. The Grieve is on 16 lap old medium tyres. Magfire is on relatively fresh soft tyres. Even Max might be able to breeze past the Grieve here. The Grieve's really going to have to get his elbows out if he wants to keep on to this 2nd place. If he wants to stay on the podium, he's going to have to absolutely make that Hascar as wide as a combine harvester here. Joram is on the penultimate lap of the race. But the Grieve's going to have his hands full here, riding on board with the Hascar. You can see the rear view there. Magfire's coming, he's coming. Is Magfire going to get there before the end of the straight? No. The Grieve has got that car absolutely set up a treat down the straights. Clearly running quite a low downforce setup for this track.
maybe running it balanced possibly, compared to, I imagine, Magfire and Max would probably be running a bit higher downforce, but the DRS not really working the way that Magfire would want it to, down to the Greaves. What I presume is going to be his setup there, currently being his saving grace. Through the middle sector we're coming now. Max is still in hot pursuit of Magfire, but Magfire looking absolutely everywhere here on the Grieve. And the Grieve making a little mistake there, coming to that right-hander. Keeps onto it though, just about covering Magfire off at every opportunity here. Magfire's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at him as we're now approaching the final lap of this race. Max GT just watching and waiting and hoping that Magfire might have a bit of a slip, trying to get past the Grieve here. We'll have to keep an eye out for Joam when he comes over the line to finish the race, but we've still got just over a lap left to go here in this one for now. Back to the trackside view, the Grieve, Magfire and Max GT going at it here for second, third and fourth. I said about a lap ago I thought that the Grieve would be a sitting duck. I thought he'd be powerless to defend, but he's done a really good job here, to be fair to him. But now I think his defence is over. I think that his opportunity to keep him behind has gone, as Magfire now pulls out to the left-hand side and races around the outside of the Grieve. But now can Max GT do the same thing? The Grieve, he's holding on for dear life here in this final podium spot. Back to the trackside view once again as they're coming through the first sector of the lap. The Grieve is clinging on. He's doing everything he has to do here, but he's got 9 lap older tyres than Max GT behind him. Magfire's done a really good job on the strategy to pit at the right time, to put the softs on and go after these guys. But can Max GT throw one down the inside of the Grieve as we're coming in towards the final few corners of this lap? We're into the final half lap of this race. Joam will be coming up on the line pretty shortly, we'd imagine. This is now last chance saloon here for Max. Can he send one? Can he catch the Grieve off guard or force him into a mistake here? Let's cut to Joam though as he's coming through the final corner of the lap here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. His home race, Joam, the reigning champion and championship leader here. It's going to take the checker flag. A dominant win from Joam, lights the flag. He controlled this one. Absolutely superb stuff here. Takes his second win in a row. Joam on fire this evening and over the course of this season. I think he's going to take some beating here. Joam coming up towards the part of the season. This is the part of the season where he excelled last season and he's continuing to do so this season. Magfire gets second place and the Grieve is going to hold on from Little Grieve, Max GT. Max GT lost out to Little Grievey there, so Max GT must have made a mistake coming through the last part of that race. Little Grievey takes 4th ahead of Max GT in 5th place. Rednas a long way behind in P6. Will be crossing the line soon. Matty Pitt though is all over the back of Horatio. Can he catch him off guard a bit in the final part of this race? No, I think that opportunity's gone as they're coming in towards the final corner. But Rednas comes over the line to take 6th place here, ahead of Horatio, who will be coming out of the final corner now to finish in 7th place. Just holds on there from Matty Pitt. And those two actually the last drivers on the lead lap. So that is that then for the race. Well done to Joam for taking another win here at Motive. Superb drive from him tonight. 20 seconds clear of the rest of them. Honourable mention to Magfire, who came through at the end. He pitted for the soft tyres with 8 laps to go and charged after Little Grievey and the Grieve to take 2nd place. The Grieve completes the podium, holding on there ahead of Little Grievey in the final part of that race. Max GT, in the end, couldn't quite nab the Grieve. He was absolutely on him there, but a mistake from Max GT gifted Little Grievey 4th place and lost out on 3rd for him. But what a race there, ladies and gentlemen. A big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the YouTube channel. Guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Please, let's get us to 10 likes if we can. It'd be absolutely awesome if we can do that. Thanks to everybody who joins us once again and to the subscribers. And if you haven't already, please drop a subscription on the channel, as it really does help us out more than you can possibly know. Thanks to all the drivers as well. Share this with your friends, share this with your family. We'll see you again next week for the next round of the Formula 1 League. Make sure you come same place, same time. Once again, we will be at Italy. We'll be at Monza for next race. So let's keep it cool coming into turn 1 next week, guys. Please, for the love of everything that's dear, keep it cool into turn 1. But once again, a big thank you to all the drivers, to all those who have watched, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later.
keeping behind has gone as Magpie now pulls out to the left hand side and races around the outside of the Grieve. But now can Max GT do the same thing with Grieve? He's holding on for dear life here in this final podium spot. Back to the trackside view once again as they're coming to the first sector of the lap. The Grieve is clinging on. He's doing everything he has to do here, but he's got 9 lap older tyres than Max GT behind him. Magpie's done a really good job on the strategy to pit at the right time to put the softs on and go after these guys. But can Max GT throw one down the inside of the Grieve as we're coming in towards the final few corners of this lap? We're into the final half lap of this race. Joan will be coming up on the line pretty shortly, we'd imagine. This is now last chance saloon here for Max. Can he send one? Can he catch the Grieve off guard or force him into a mistake here? Let's cut to Joan though as he's coming through the final corner of the lap here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. His home race, Joan, the reigning champion and